Says it's working. Well, hey guys, me. Welcome from the Queen City, Radio City, Cincinnati, baby. Everything seems to be working, so I'm happy. I think you guys can hear me. I think I can hear you. You can see me. So what the hell, man? What are we going to talk about now? Like, this has been the first 5 minutes of every show. I'm not sure I have enough material anymore. I have to write all of the self-deprecation for all the times I screw up ahead of time. Hey there, Jim. Jim Williams. Yes. Hey, from Columbus, Lefty Gramps. Good to see you all. Thank you for being here. We're going to talk about a couple things today. You may have seen that obvious non-story where, well, over that place called the CIA, they listed the names of all sorts of agents in an email exposing them. And of course, Hillary Clinton was responsible. No, she wasn't. That's right. But we didn't elect her because she had a couple emails that she didn't handle carefully that in the end amounted to nothing. And our whole corporate media filled with as much poo as one could fill into any entity. Plus, James Comey, or as we like to call him, James Comey, decided that was worthy of electing Donald Trump. And beginning 9 years ago, this entire circus. That's right, almost a decade of this circus, because the New York Times thought, and Jim Comey thought, a few emails on Hillary's computer were worth putting in a traitor, an assaulter, a criminal, a lifetime con man, a human being with literally no decent qualities. And somehow he's actually found a younger clone who actually grew up in Jim Crow, as close as it, maybe worse, in apartheid South Africa, that is just as bad. And you can trace it all back to that original sin. It is unbelievable to me. Yeah, Jim, you said James Comey can kick rocks. He can kick a lot worse than that. I love when he tries to apologize now, because eventually, of course, Trump fired him. The way Trump turns on everybody. The way Trump turned on Joe Scarborough got Joe Scarborough really mad. And then Scarborough pretended it was about, actual politics and got mad back at him. The way he turned on Lindsey Graham, the way he turned on his original endorsers, Jeff Sessions and Mo Brooks. And funny, all of his original endorsings were in Alabama, which, no offense to my Alabama friends, but I do think has the lowest rate education system in the country. I mean, there's nothing James Comey could do for this lifetime and 40 more. And the fact that he's felt a need to stay out in the public when he should disappear in a hole somewhere and honestly spend all this time hoping there's a God and praying to that God, that he doesn't end up in a fiery eternity for what he's done to us. But then the New York Times thinking that was worthy of 47 articles just above the fold on the front page. They've never, ever, maybe when Trump was convicted of the felony, it came close to as many articles on the front page on one issue. But, Hillary was going to win anyhow. And, we can't make it too easy for them. We don't really like the Clintons, and they're strivers. They didn't grow up with money like all of us elite New York Times people. So, let's make fun of them. That's worked out great for this country. Thanks, guys, for the fascism. Thanks for all the people whose lives have been absolutely destroyed from any number of things that have occurred, including plane crashes 2 weeks ago, week ago. Thanks for all that. For every life this man has touched, and take that however you would like to, but has destroyed. And for all the harm he's caused around the world. I mean, you guys were like the butterfly in the butterfly effect. New York Times and Jim Comey, you were the butterflies. And now you should go get eaten by a dinosaur somewhere. I didn't mean for that to even be a rant, but it's amazing to me. We are still sitting here at this moment a decade later because those schmucks thought that that was worthy. And really, it's because in the end, Jim Comey was covering his butt because he was scared Republicans might get mad at him because they're all scared. They didn't even, Trump was just the latest bully. Newt Gingrich, Tom DeLay, there's been a long line of Republican bullies who the rest of them have cowed down. They've cowed down to Mitch McConnell so many times. And now they have to cow down just to dodge him when he's falling. Okay, I won't do that. But I'm tempted. But yeah, they've basically, they cowed down in so many ways, ignored their oaths, destroyed their constitutional duties. They know it. They know it. In private, they all admit it. But they act like, oh, it's just a Trump thing. Trump's just by far the worst, the one who will commit the most crimes, that will most egregiously go after them in terms of taking revenge, destroy their lives, the way he pulls their security, even if they have death threats, that kind of thing. But he's not the only one. They have the Republicans in Congress have bowed to one bully after another. Again, from Gingrich to DeLay to, I mean, they couldn't with Hastert. He's busy wrestling somewhere, rolling around with some, people, some teaching boys how to wrestle. That's what he was doing. Honorable party that it is. And so again, here we are. I mean, and it isn't just a decade of American life they've destroyed. How many Supreme Court justices? 3. One of whom the FBI didn't even bother to investigate because they told them not to, and was a blackout drunk who did God knows what to various women. And Brett Kavanaugh, Coney Barrett, who's from a religious cult and was rated not qualified to be there. Those are the 2 more moderate ones, by the way. The craziest one is Gorsuch, who was just a political operative from the beginning. His mom ran the EPA for Reagan. We've got, I mean, you can't even calculate the butterfly effect of all of it. You couldn't start to. And it's all because they thought, like they do now, like they did when they reported on metal tubes and iron rods and things, meaning that Saddam Hussein had to have weapons of mass destruction. Oh my God, we have to go. And so we went and started a war and destroyed, I don't know how many people, tens, more like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. Destabilized the whole Middle East. Had a whole lot of soldiers come back here broken, both mentally and physically. For what? Because the New York Times thought Judith Miller, who's getting her source material from any of the neocons that wanted to feed it to her. I mean, they've done this again and again. The butterfly effects of their screw ups. When people try to argue me, say, "Well, no, there's some good New York Times sections." Does that make up for the way? I mean, you can't make up with a good article on a restaurant in New York, or the weather, or how the Knicks played last night when you've destroyed our country, when millions are dead because of you. Any of them ever think about that? Again, that's what that email story did. And that's what they did. That's what Jim Comey did. So they have the good sense to go the hell away where everyone would like him to be. And look what we get. CIA lists names of all new hires in unclassified email reports. I remember when Donald Trump was always talking about Hillary's emails. Senator Adam Schiff said, yeah. Can you imagine that? You're a new hire at the CIA. So I went to a graduate school that was in international affairs. I know some folks who went in. They weren't allowed to tell me. They guessed in some cases. In other cases, they fooled me. Everybody was going to the State Department. It was the story. And I actually had thoughts of going and interviewing with them too, just to lay it on the table. I decided not to. Because security policy and international affairs has always been important to me. And you've gone to that interview. You've decided you're gonna risk your life. You're gonna go serve abroad, likely, in a role where you work at an embassy abroad under the cover of being, a diplomat, foreign service, and you are working for the CIA. And now Donald Trump has just gone and exposed all of your names, so everybody around the world knows who you are. His people at the CIA that he picked. I'm sure it's Biden's fault somehow, and DEI and like bathrooms and I don't know what else. Definitely DEI. Definitely. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. How are you guys all doing? Can you still hear me? Hopefully. Yeah, what we got left here is Colin Powell's finest moment. I mean, the shame is that Colin Powell achieved so much, accomplished so much for somebody born who was black at the time he was so much, the odds so stacked against him, and had such an honorable career until then, and just destroyed it with that. I'm glad eventually he endorsed Obama, I guess twice. I'm glad that, maybe was he still around? He endorsed Hillary, I think, over Trump. I mean, I'm glad that he did some good things, but he had to know that's a stain that will never wash away. You can't. All right. There is no laundry detergent strong enough to wash that stain off of you. You went into the UN and you lied about weapons of mass destruction. And he knew. I'm not going to say, I know that they were, they're sharing fake intel, the neocon guys, and bad intel, but even if Colin Powell wasn't 100% sure, even if he thought there was a chance, good chance there are weapons of mass destruction there because of what he was getting. Okay. There are weapons of mass destruction in North Korea. There are weapons of mass destruction in Iran. There are weapons of mass destruction in a whole lot of countries around the world. Russia, China. Do we bomb everybody with weapons of mass destruction? I still need to know why that was good enough to go start a war and destabilize the Middle East. To go and ignore all of history, that when you go with a foreign culture and you go and you invade a country and depose its leader and leave a power vacuum, you think they're just going to all be like, hey, we want to be American. We like your movies. Can we convert to Christianity? You know, maybe they'll be pissed that a lot of their relatives and friends died when you went in and did that, and people that never ever would have fought back against you. Which is, by the way, whatever side, and I have nuance on what's going on in the Middle East, because I will never allow people to sit and look me in the face and make apologies or do anything for what happened that October day in Israel, for a barbaric Middle Ages kind of attack. And I can't even talk about the things they did to women and people on YouTube. Now, how we responded, and Bibi Netanyahu, the fact that he should be occupying a cell just like Donald Trump, different. Horrible person in charge at the wrong time, kind of like us right now. And how it was handled afterwards. Some of it needed to be done. He, of course, overdid a lot of it. But it doesn't change the fact, because he doesn't care. I mean, Palestinian lives are the least important thing. But now we're looking at, because all the people are like, oh, genocide Joe and free Palestine and all that. 51%, Biden had gotten 69% of the Muslim vote. Well, Jill Stein got 51% and Trump got 21, and I think Kamala got 20. It's probably cost us Michigan. And now we're talking about ethnic cleansing in Gaza. I don't get it. But, and that's what we did in Iraq, essentially. So there's back to Colin Powell and everything. And now my good friend Tony is here. Ooh.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Look at that.
Yeah. It's good to see you. I haven't been over here for a while. We haven't been able to connect.
To your place, I got to come visit. If I were
busy.
I'm really busy, and I'm also really incompetent. So if I could more competent.
Well, I mean, sometimes busyness gets us distracted. That's why I say Trump's trying to keep us busy. He's trying to keep us busy on these issues, so we get distracted with the stuff that matters the most. I do have reporting for you. I don't have long, because I got to go pick up a kid.
Report for me, because I was getting off on a rant just a little bit about the CIA emails, and then that took us to the New York Times and Comey.
Oh yeah, I heard a little bit about the CIA emails. So I haven't digged into that story yet.
They in an email sent the names of all, because Trump's people are geniuses. All the names of all, the new recruits.
The best ever, the best.
They're the best, they're the smartest. It's the most beautiful thing you ever see. This email, it's beautiful. Just like that, it was beautiful because I got elected because Jim Comey wouldn't shut his mouth, and because the New York Times thought they should cover the front page on an emails. And it was just beautiful, the most beautiful thing. And now I had to go into the 10-year circus that we've all been in, because they took one email story out of context. Jim Comey opened his mouth, which Merrick Garland wouldn't do for 4 years, a week before an election, and the New York Times covered their entire front page with it. And that's why we're sitting in this timeline right now. If you want to look at the butterflies of the butterfly effect, if you want to look at what led us off, it was that. This is why we're sitting here. This is why so many innocent people have lost lives, have lost things valuable to them. And that's how I started going to the New York Times great history with Judith Miller and aluminum tubes, they must have weapons of mass destruction. Let's blow them up.
Right.
Because nobody's ever used an aluminum tube.
That was a good one back then. That's a way back machine, right?
Oh yeah. I'm not letting the New York Times. Hey, the New York Times said Mr. Hitler seems to have learned his lesson and it's promised to go live a quiet life in Bavaria. That's a direct line from, I think, 1923. I want to say it was a newspaper in the New York Times. I mean, they've been getting it should be the New York Times. Getting it wrong for 120 years now. Causing racial strife and genocide for 100. I don't know. Point being, like, I went back to, and then one of our great guys here, I'm sure, is over at your place too, Lefty Gramps, who's an Ohioan. We love him. Brought up Colin Powell, and I was discussing the stain that, you know, Colin Powell otherwise had this amazing,
Usually
illustrious
colons leave
career.
stains, by the way. Usually colons leave stains,
So
by the way.
well
I'm just
done. How did I miss that?
Eh,
But I mean, this illustrious, amazing career as, you know, the first black general of that rank, and you know, national security, was he national security advisor? Yeah, first, and then Secretary of State, I believe,
right,
and
yeah.
all of it.
There's a great George Carlin bit where he says, you know, he's talking about happens to be black. He just happens to be black, and he's like, Colin Powell is black. He just happens, or he's white. He's white, but he just happens to be black. Because you know that's kind of the
Right.
like he's like the whitest black guy that there
Well,
is.
of course, and that's the thing, that kind of thing that like, if George, you know, George Carlin back then could say, if he got up and like did that same thing today, oh, the screams.
Oh
and
yeah,
protests.
they get lose their
Oh
minds.
my
They lose their
God.
minds. But it's a
God
great,
forbid
it's
we
a
see-
great bit. It's a great bit because he's making a very valid point, and it's kind of a point that some of the points that we should be making today. That it's like, you know, we're not so divided, and that's the reporting that I actually have. So I went to the state capitol here in Missouri yesterday for this 50-50 protest.
My correspondent, Tony Michaels from Jefferson City,
Breaking news
is reporting. Report, Tony.
So what I noticed about the protest is that one, it was cold and it was kind of misty and wet. So I was like, wow. And I showed up about an hour and 45 minutes after it was officially started. And there was still
I was
a
going to
lot
make
of people
is that what it's like in the bedroom with you joke? But
yeah, well, it is cold and wet. And
remind me of
but there were-
Robin Williams during Good Morning Vietnam. It's
Right.
hot and wet here. Great if you're with a woman. Terrible if you're in a war or whatever. Okay, I'm sorry. Go. I'll shut up.
No, that's okay. But there were still people showing up at the protest, even though I showed up about an hour and a half or so late to when it started. And then I was there for about an hour over, and you know, I left because I was like, it's too damn cold and wet, and I got the footage that I wanted. I really got the feel. So I will say the good thing about the protest is it was pretty palpable that you could sense that people kind of had this urge to just shout, right? It was in the air. Now, the thing I'll knock on it is that we still haven't gotten ourselves in a situation where we all have one message and one voice. That is one thing that is holding us back from making a shift change here, to let the people in power know that they're not in power as much as they think they are, right? That all this is kind of nonsense and lies and BS.
Right.
That
there's a lot of levers of power, and we don't talk often enough about them. And one of the biggest ones, again, is what people were doing. And they may not have been the most organized there, but is your voice, is the power to organize, is the power.
Correct.
Again, I keep using the phrase, and I will keep using it forever, which is to create spectacle. Because again, I'll just say in a very quick thing. So when Trump, which time was it? I guess it was around 2018, 2019. I was working for this Democratic group. We're trying to oust a congressman here. They were running groups all around the country. We wanted to get attention. So of course, Trump created this ridiculous Space Force, as we all remember, which was just like NASA. I said NASA, but he just basically was like, I'm going to rename it, like he does with everything, right? So Mike Pence was coming to Cincinnati for a fundraiser. So I dressed up as a Martian, and so did somebody else in my group, and somebody else dressed up in a red suit with Space Force on it. And we were on the cover of the Cincinnati Enquirer. And again, did I want to be dressed up like a Martian in the heat? It was like the summer, I believe, the heat of that day. Luckily they didn't know it was me because I had the stupid thing on my head as a Martian. But the point is that you have to create visuals. You have to think, because the corporate media is always, they only care about two things: the corporate bottom line and shareholders, which is what makes them so right wing. But the one thing that we can hack is they also need to make ad dollars through clickbait. And if we make ourselves clickbait by causing spectacle, they will cover us.
That's exactly right. Now, I will tell you this. That's one observation I made, is that there were some journalists there. They seem to be, print journalists. They had credentials and they had cameras. So it was pretty clear they were press. And I was kind of there as press too. I wasn't there to protest. I came to see what it was. I wanted. Now, at one point, the crowd started chanting, eat the rich, and boy, I got excited. I started yelling, yeah, that's the chant. That's the chant. Of course, I'm really loud. I don't need a megaphone.
But you're objective media. How could you do that, Tony?
Exactly. Yeah, right. I'm objective. Yep. Objective to what? Saving our democracy. But I'll speaking injective. Yeah, you inject. You inject. No, but speaking,
monetize me for that, by the way. Just
right, probably.
I promise.
Yeah. Ejaculation. But speaking of injection, the media decided not to inject themselves into anywhere around the vicinity of this protest. So there was no. I mean, there the major news networks affiliates like ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. They were not there with their video cameras, and it's on the Capitol. It was on the Capitol front steps.
You
right
said
there.
You were saying you're about the national, but you're saying the local news media wasn't
No,
there?
no, the local affiliates, like your local ABC.
So that's what you'd expect if it's Jefferson City, right?
But they were not there. They were not there.
Wait, so the local affiliates were not there?
They were not there with the cameras. No, no.
That's annoying. Okay,
well,
that's not doing your job.
And I want to point out, to be clear on this, and you know this, and I've got to run here soon. But the reason why this is important is because it's the Capitol. And at the Capitol, there are parking lots that are media parking lots on purpose, because there's a lot of news made at a place like, I don't know, a building where the governor and the legislature, and across the street where the Supreme Court operates.
That's where, what's
the
his
people's
name?
business.
Marty's wife had to go. Was it Marty? His wife had to go to meet with the rich Koch brother guy to get like the casino permit in Ozark.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Jeff City.
Exactly. Right.
See,
The
I know this
Capitol.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, you've seen it on the TV, on the Netflix.
I watched the TV, so I know everything.
But they have a parking lot, and it's actually right out front. Right out front, right. If you're standing on the steps where the protesters are standing, you can see the media parking lot where they park. Now, a lot of times they'll position themselves up on the top of the hill, at the sidewalk, and they set up on the sidewalk so they can really get a wide shot of the Capitol for some story. That way the reporter can stand in front of the camera and say, oh, here at the Missouri State Capitol, there's protesters protesting Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and they're chanting this, and this. There was none of that. There was no one in sight. And the other thing that kind of got me,
that's annoying.
And I asked, it's not annoying, it's planned. If you want to know the honest truth, it's planned to be silent.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, but the one other thing that I observed is there obviously was law enforcement around. And again, around the Missouri State Capitol, you have the Capitol Police, which protect the state buildings. You have the city police in the vicinity. You also have the county sheriff. And then we have the highway patrol, which is stationed in Jefferson City because it's the state capitol. So there's a lot of law enforcement, and there were cars and stuff, but there was only 2 uniformed officers kind of off the side of the protest, and they're kind of looking at their cell phones. Or it didn't seem to be a lot of law enforcement security.
Because I think when I made my little remark there, I may have made it in error, so I apologize because I may have misunderstood you. I thought what you were saying is they were up on a hill, but they purposely weren't filming the protesters. Is that what you said?
No, they were not there at all. I did not observe any major networks and their affiliates to be at this protest. There were some journalists. I did not ask where they were from. They had credentials. They were probably
I misunderstood you. Who you were saying was up on the hill then?
That's where they usually position themselves for a story like this.
That's where I did hear you right.
If you were going to see them covering a story like this, that might be where they would position themselves. So they got a really far vantage point, because the Capitol's a big building. And it's kind of in a small place. Jeff City's a really small town compared to other state capitals, really.
Right. Some of them.
Right.
No, you're right. There are states like, I think of, like, Boston being the capital of Massachusetts, or Denver in Colorado.
Right.
But, there are places that, like, for example, Columbus here in Ohio is ranked, the 16th biggest city. But that's because they've incorporated the entire county around them.
Right.
It's not nearly that big. It may, in fact, be smaller than Cincinnati, or maybe a little bit bigger, like all of the 3 C's, as we call them here in Cleveland, too. I mean, I don't know how big Jeff City is, but we're all somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000.
Jeff City's about 50,000.
Oh, a lot smaller. Okay.
Right. So it's a small space. And it's just because of our history. Like the Missouri River's right there, the railroad. That's why they chose Jeff City, because it's on the river with the railroad there. Back when it really mattered. Back when the river and the railroad really mattered for, like you're saying, access.
Well, you needed that to get places. You couldn't just go for like a long walk up a hill. Like when you call me sometimes and you're panting into the phone.
Yeah, right.
Like, don't worry, it's nothing bad. I'm just walking up a hill.
I'm hiking.
Tony actually calls me during his hikes sometimes and just wants to make sure I know that he's not getting excited for me, that he's actually which I'll take it either way. I mean, whatever works for him.
When you're hawking diet pills, sometimes you got to exercise too. It's not just the diet pills.
I love that you brought it up.
It's not just the diet pills.
The more of you guys come in here, by the way, who I think, first of all, as Tony I think knows, and you guys all know, yesterday was the best day I've ever had streaming. I mean, that guy who came in here, John Landrigan. John, are you back? Please come back today.
Oh, it's John. Is that the asshole that was in your chat yesterday?
We just for 30 minutes. I
got to
John, innovate. I got to do some improvisational comedy, like anything that I was just moving, and some of it I'm sure failed, but some of it worked, and John just kept trying to come back, and it was, but in any case, I was making a point there, and I don't know what the hell it was. It's just the fact that we were having some fun here, and
I talked about the diet pill. I made a joke about
that's what because of so a bunch of guys, other I guess troll type creatures were here, mentioning the diet pill stuff and I was just like, hey, I may mock them, I may do whatever, I'm not sure. There are actual, I know this sounds crazy, but I take vitamins. And other people do. And
do you think they work? Do you think they work?
There are pills. Well, I don't take diet pills, but I do take vitamins like with protein and these things and stuff like that. Do diet pills work with a healthy diet? I think they do if they're good diet pills. Like, it's not like all diet pills are crap. I mean, there are ones that are.
They're, right. Well, and it might be a placebo effect, but this stuff, I actually take this stuff because I'm chubby. That's why I walk up the hill every day, because I'm a little chubby.
Well, actually, it's good that you take it because technically, if you didn't, like, remember when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got in trouble? Because technically, it's amazing the laws we have. Like, we've got no laws around politics. You can lie about anything. But seriously, like,
absolutely anything. There's nothing you can't lie about.
From the west side of Cincinnati, where one guy knew it was a lie, said, and the candidate at the time, he was in the state. I'm sorry, he was in Congress for 2 years. Steve Driehaus sued over it and ended up making its way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court decided you can lie in politics. Even if you know what you're saying, which is to me one of the reasons we're in the situation we're in. But you can't do that with corporate advertising. Like, you cannot endorse a product you yourself don't use. So if you sat here just now and said, I don't use it, you actually technically, I don't know if anybody would bother to come after you.
Right.
So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's Muslim, was once endorsing Coors, and as a practicing Muslim was not. Yes, it was Steve Shabbat. You're right, Tim K. Thank you. And somebody was endorsing that, and we got rid of that ridiculous, like, Rudy Giuliani twist around hair, like 1970s leisure suit loser, and got Greg Landsman. So thumbs up on that. Good friend of mine. But yeah, you can't. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think they warned him or they fined him or whatever, because they're like, dude, you can't be doing Coors Light commercials or Coors, whatever it was, if you're not drinking the product.
If you've never tasted or you won't drink it. Well, so this product here, and I'm not going to hawk it on your show. I'll leave that to my show, because that's what it's for. Well, what I'll say is that, and I'm going to talk about this next.
After it's over, just pass it.
but what I will say is it's not a diet pill. Like, it makes you skinny, right? It's supposed to suppress your appetite.
Right.
And I'll tell you that they recommend that you take 3 in the morning, but over the last
12.
Right. No. Well, I mean, I could, I guess, but over the last
Ozempic? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, it's kind of, it works like Ozempic, but it's not the heroin injection type, diet stuff. But here's the thing. When you think of injecting something, you think of heroin, don't you? But here's Right.
And I'd make a joke about a certain person who's going to try to be Health and Human Services, but apparently we can't even say that person's name anymore because I've heard of people getting banned for that. That's how
Oh, okay.
ridiculous this is.
Yeah. Well, it
You
is
can
all
get
ridiculous.
demonetized for that. So
Okay. Well, but this product here, what I found is that I take it right when I eat. I take one of them. They say 3 days. So I usually eat 3 times a day, as most people might do. But I just take one of them during that. And I actually, it might be a placebo effect, but I feel like I'm not as hungry by the time I get to the end of my meal.
well,
Like,
then it's good and it's potentially work. Again, here's
right.
the thing. I remember when I had a podcast back in the day, and maybe some people here who listen to my audio podcast, Unprecedented, which turned out to be a complete waste because the whole point of it was Trump had once said unprecedented instead of unprecedented. So it was a play on words if we wanted to unprecedented him and we were making fun of him for being an idiot. And I did it with John Aravosis, and we did that podcast went for about 3 years. It was audio. Every once in a while we do video. We get like Malcolm Nance or Mary Trump or
Right.
somebody where want to do video. But we did audio, and then he was unprecedented in 2020. We're like, all right, I guess we both want to do different things. So like, so sometime within 6 months or whatever after that we stopped. Like we accomplished what we wanted to do in 2021, and what have you. But the point is there were at least a few products like that because we had some advertising, which I'm working on for this show now. And I'm sorry, like I would check on all of them because no, I'm not going to tell people that they'll be like, hey guys, this stuff is great. Like,
Right.
oh my God. Like, you know, this is it.
You know what I was completely terrified
this
of?
lighter fluid. You should just go to town on it. No, I'm not going to do that. But if something, there are good diet pill products that you take. To me, if they're saying to you, this is instead of food, then I'm worried.
Right. Well,
If they're telling
you know what's
take it
funny
with food, like, I mean,
well, you know that what's funny about it is like when they first approached me, I was like, okay, send me the product, I'll try it. Because what I was scared of was like if you took it and it made you have like explosive diarrhea or something. I was like, oh my God, that'd be the worst thing ever. It's like I'm hawking a product, and in the chat, everyone's like, dude, this gave me.
Do you understand that would be the almost, you should try to do that?
Oh, right.
Do you understand the economy of attention we're now existing? You say Hawk
podcaster.
You say Hawk Chua, and you end up getting your own podcast. You end up getting endorsements.
Right. You get a Bitcoin
meme coin.
and you fucking like, run off with $1 million. This is great. So what you're saying is I should hawk diarrhea pills, is what you're saying?
You should say to them, do you guys have a diarrheal? Is that a word? I'm going to make it up.
Yeah, sure.
Is it an adjective? Do you have a diarrheal version of this pill?
I'm looking to give my audience the squirts.
Like, I want my live stream to go to 2 million people. And I know that if I'm exploding on the walls during it, I mean, dude, you will be
I'm going to get
famous.
some media attention. I'm going to get some media attention for this.
You know, I mean, look, I know, I can't remember his name, but I still know the fact, the guy who was in Singapore and the nanny ran him when this kid crawled in the room and he was doing that financial thing. I mean, he's got like 150,000 followers or something. He used to, something on Twitter. And all it said was, yup, I'm that guy. Because he was sitting doing like a Zoom, in the early days of Zoom. And he had a nanny with his kid in the other room. He was in Singapore. Mm-hmm. He went to the college my wife went to. So like, it was a big thing for that college. It's hilarious. Miami of Ohio, down the road in Oxford, Miami. Great school, by the way. And so, and in the background, his child is crawling into the room and coming. And then like you see a nanny like with a horrified look at her.
Oh, shit.
Running in and grab the
kid.
And it went viral. So I'm just saying, like, the only viral moment at this point that wrecks your career doing this kind of work is if you die. I mean, you don't want that.
Well, I mean, what's the tubing guy?
If it's the bungee cord breaking or something, no good. You don't want that.
Right.
But if it's diarrheal, dude, do it.
Right. I mean,
by the way, I'm going to find out that diarrheal is a word that they demonetized.
Right. Yeah. That's right. That's what you're going to find out. Like, you can't say that one. But people are pointing out in the chat, and I didn't think about this, and we're not really in tune to this while we're joking about this, is that the squirts actually is a good way to lose weight. You just want to stay hydrated.
It's a great way to lose weight. That's why Ozempic does that. I mean,
right.
It's not good for you. you don't want that to be the way you lose weight. The reason why when you
That's
get
great.
really sick, have the flu or a stomach bug,
Right.
like, you know, I'll just say, without going into any further details, the one time I got food poisoning, um, thank you, salad bar at Columbia, where I went to grad school. That's supposed to be all high and mighty. Um, dude,
Those Ivy League salad bars, you got to watch them salad bars
oh,
there.
I mean, seriously, the food poison, which by the way, again, like, at least that's the worst thing I can think of from my grad school. My undergrad created the two worst human beings in the world. So
Right.
you know,
Here I am from Missouri. We're eating like squirrel and rabbit, and we're
oh,
fine. You're eating
exactly.
you're eating off the salad bar at
Well,
Columbia getting food
apparently
poisoning.
I shouldn't have, because again, I don't want to go into details, but let's just say if there's an orifice, it's an exit, and I probably lost like 10 pounds.
He was shitting out his ears.
Like, what's that coming out of your eyeballs?
Right.
You don't want to
Good
know.
Lord,
You don't want to. But
Yeah.
in any case, you know, look, I know you off of this crazy
Right.
crazy, you know, live stream we're doing right now. I know what kind of a person you are. And so I know that you would do what I did, which is the basic stuff. I'm not gonna say every product I endorse must be the most amazing of it. Well, look, I'm drinking Pepsi. You know, is that better than Coke? I don't know. You decide. I don't care.
Right. Right.
And I'm not endorsing it, by the way, because I'd be making a lot more money if I were. But I'm just saying, like, that as long as if I determine something is safe for people and that I think it will work, I'll endorse it. You know, and we got
sure.
we got some stuff that was that kind of stuff. I mean, hell, we were doing it some point. It was like some zit cream. I'm like, fine. I'm like, you know, at the time, I'm like 47 or something. I'm like, I'll put it on my face and see, you know, I don't think I have any zits, but I'm putting it on anyhow, just so I
get a zit every now and then. I'm almost 40, and I get a zit every now and then.
That's what I'm saying. Every once in a while, it can happen to the best of us. But then we get like a great product. Like,
but I don't get them on my face. I don't get them on my face. I get them on like my ass cheek or something. You know, in the worst possible spot. You
That's
know, you
exactly
sit down.
what
And ooh, oh, that fucking hurts. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm still pissed about?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm still pissed about. And I'm looking at you guys. You better pay me money and have me endorse your product again, because I endorsed Omaha steaks, which I eat.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I've eaten a number of times, so it's not like
Omaha steaks are pretty good. They're pretty good.
They're good. They are good.
And they're a great gift to give. Like,
Yep.
that's almost every time I've eaten Omaha steak is someone bought it as a gift and they send it to the house.
You send it to them, and they're pretty good, right? So, but part of the deal was they're supposed to send us our Omaha steaks for free, and frickin' John Aravosis, of course, got his, and mine never arrived. I kept calling him like, "Send me my Omaha steak." So you guys owe me a steak. I've actually even just said again that your steak is good on here, and I still haven't gotten my steak, and I'm upset. So, you know, keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to run. I'm glad we got all the politics worked out on diarrhea pills.
I think we have on diarrhea pills, and the fact that clearly a couple of emails on a server at Hillary's home that had nothing to do with anything was worth destroying 240 years of the United States of America over.
Exactly. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Yeah, that's cool.
That was worth it. Just, you know, again, I'm tempted to write we didn't start the fire since Donald Trump came into office, except for it would have to be honestly like 127 verses to capture all of the awful things he said or done, all of the norms he's destroyed, all of the, I mean, you know, and it all goes back to that. And yet I don't know what these guys are going to do. Because again, there are one or two people, the ones who had a history, and his last thing, I'll let you run, but the ones who had a history before they were in my grad program, international affairs, you know, that kind of thing, of like they had been in like, you know, naval intelligence or something, when they were like, yeah, I'm going to work at the State Department, you know, in Venezuela. I was like, yeah, okay. Okay. But there were a few other people who, you know, even a woman I was dating at one point said, man, she's a good liar. Probably lied, but okay, I'm not going to make this show any more gross than it already is. So I did not know until she came out publicly and was done with her career about 4 or 5 years ago that you know, because she did not have a history of having been in intelligence, didn't talk about it a lot. I had no idea. So I thought when she went abroad to various places and was in the State Departments, she was legitimately, because when I did the work I did, the democracy promotion stuff, and again, guys, I would have to tell you, so, you know, or you could just think I'm lying. I don't know. But when I did that stuff, that was USIA, U.S. Information Agency, which was folded into the State Department. And, I mean, you could call that propaganda because it's obviously us promoting our way of life abroad when we had a way of life that included, at least that was back in 2004 during the Kerry Bush election. And I thought, Bush can't possibly win re-election after all that, can he? So I thought democracy was working, that a guy barely won and probably actually even kind of pulled some shenanigans, which I can't even talk about, I'm sure, too, here. In George W. Bush. And then like in 2004, I'm like, we're going to correct that with John Kerry. Democracy works. I'll go to Romania. And then it's the most irony of ironies that Romania are the ones who like a month or two ago canceled the first round of their elections, their Supreme Court, because the Russians had meddled in it. And a guy with no money made it to their top 2 or 3 runoff. And so they canceled it and reran it and found whatever way to keep the Russians out of it. And here we are knowing how much the Russians attacked our democracy. Like, we'll let them all stay.
Yeah, it's all cool. It's all cool. It's all good. It's all good.
Over here, can somebody send some of the Romanian folks I met over here?
Right.
Maybe, send them around to Jeff City and Cincinnati and places to lecture us.
Anywhere really to tell these people. I will say this. From the protest yesterday. Keep your voices loud and keep going to protest. Even though we haven't found our one voice yet in these protests to really push back the way that we need to push back, it is important that we keep pushing back anywhere and everywhere we can and build these alliances, even though it feels like these people may not be, quote, on our side. We all have a common interest, and that common interest is our kitchen table. And if we focus in on that and we make sure that we get better and better as we go along every day that comes, because every day with Trump feels like a decade, but so we got a lot of time here. If you count that.
I'll just say, like, where you are right in that is it also yesterday, and I'm going to do another one because after that moment where she was speaking, man, Jasmine Crockett had your Missouri gal.
Yeah.
Like she had another moment. And I'm going to break it down because it's not just that you're willing to speak up. There's a number of things to this. Willingness to speak up, willing to get up and shout and say what you need to say is so important. But when you're so talented that even in your choice of words, there were 3 different parts of a 1 minute, basically ripping of Republicans yesterday, and I'm going to do my thing on it, where she said things that just were so cutting and so condescending and so ripping apart of various things. So it's that you message and how you message. And I do feel like, I think, again, I started writing my Substack, which is on it for today. Still haven't edited it. Couldn't get there. But we'll put that up in a little bit. Folks, I'm only 20, last I checked, away from 3,000. Please, I'm going to have to bother you more after Tony leaves to get that last 20, folks. But about how it felt like something changed yesterday with all that, to me. Like you feel it in a sports game, you feel momentum change in the air. We had all sorts of Democrats using, like, what did Ayanna Pressley call him? She called him a Nazi Nepo baby, Elon Musk.
Where's the lie? And even if it is, it's politics. You're allowed to,
Right, that's true. But you also know that Democrats, of course, never talked like that in the past. And I took notes, and that's what's going to be in the Substack too, on what a bunch of Democrats had to say. They were actually swearing. Oh my God, they were ripping into the other side. Instead of a couple of those people who right after the election, like, I'll work with Elon Musk. Clearly he's brilliant. He made billions of dollars. I'm like, what are you saying? And to where we are now, where we're tearing. I still like the line best by Denver Riggleman, who's a former Republican who became a very active never Trumper, was a moderate from Virginia, who said Elon Musk or an incel trapped inside a billionaire's body. But a bunch of Democrats are dropping lines like that yesterday. I'm like, yes, how you speak about them, the strength you use, the confidence you have,
right?
Your word choice, how cutting it is,
right,
sends a signal to the media that this is this is how they should be covered, both conscious and unconscious.
The other thing I want to bring up,
it sends a signal to everybody out there who's watching that you have strength, that you are confident, and that they're weak. And this is the thing I always talk about.
Well, the one thing I want to mention before I go to about the protests and speaking out to that specific point, and then I have to go, is that the good news
It's in
about
the bathroom because of the diet pills is what it is.
yeah, right. Yeah, I gotta go. Jesus Christ. I just took one and it's starting to kick in. The one thing that I'll say, if I'm not
Really
distracted
trying not to
by
laugh. I'm
diarrhea talk, is that speaking of diarrhea, Elon Musk is part of the government now. He's been instituted in the government, which means we have the right to go after him. He is part of the government. He can no longer use this. I'm a private citizen and this kind of nonsense. He is part of the government. He is open. It is open season on him to mock him and to go after him and to tell the truth or what might seem like lies about him. And the reason why is because as he's acting as a government official, he cannot be defamed. That's not a thing. He's acting in a government way. He's a government official now. Trump has made him part of the government, which means that he now cannot come after us because we are speaking out against him because he is government. That is key. That is actually part of the one that he's like, freedom of speech, First Amendment.
It's ironic because he's not actually really a member of the government technically, but it doesn't matter. They're calling him a member of the government. They're letting him act like it, even though it's illegal.
That's right.
They wouldn't let the oversight Democrats into the Treasury, which was illegal.
Right.
So if he wants to be a government official, then we're going to treat him like
welcome, my friend. Welcome to the world.
Enjoy.
That's right. Enjoy your stay here at the United States government.
That's right.
Because you work for us now. I don't know if he knows that. You work for us.
With your bloated body and your yeast infection for a face, we now get to say whatever we want about you. And I just did.
Right. That's right. Well, I got to go because I got to drop some kids off at the pool. All right. We'll see you guys.
They're working, guys. See, the pills work.
We'll see you guys.
Take it easy, man. Oh, there's not much more fun in the world than one of those moments where Tony and I are in the same wavelength and laughing. Let's see what you guys have in store for me. I saw something interesting. Somebody mentioned the Majority Report live stream into detail about Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, other tech bros. I highly recommend today's program. Okay. They're still my buddies. Well, Sam is my buddy. I don't know the other folks, but from when I used to go on that show back in the day, I used to have a Friday segment. It's been a while. What else do we got? And then we can get into this right now. What made Jasmine Crockett, and this is when she was in committee yesterday, what was so effective about what she said? And then I will try to find somebody who wants to harass me. I mean, one of you guys, I guess, could pretend to be a. Nah, that's no fun. Because if you're not really trying to troll me, it's just not as much fun to rip you apart. Did I see about the protest in Columbus in Cincy here? I did not, Lefty Graham, so you're gonna have to tell me about it. Yesterday was a crazy busy day. I think next week for the first time I will be able to sort of start with having some time. Matthew Tarpley, I sent you a Substack message about the list of lawsuits against the administration. Thank you. I will go check that Substack message. And you just reminded me, Substack, everybody. I'm going to check right now, see where we are. You guys got me like 30 new people yesterday because you're all so awesome. And we broke our goal of 2,900. And then guess what? The algorithm liked it. See, it does. And it kept going. And so now we have to see dashboard. Come on. Okay, there we are. You ready, guys? You ready for this? 2,983. I just need 17 more of you to go to Substack and subscribe, and I will hit 3,000. Come on. There's got to be 17 of you who are watching this. And Jim Williams, always there. The quickest straw. I'm not sure if you're in the West, but wherever you are. Seriously, guys, it's free. And Tony's on there. And you're going to find a lot of your favorite people who are over there or headed that way. Jim Acosta is now like holding up his phone and doing live streams from there. Has 150,000 followers already. I'm trying to get to 3. DS Jones, thank you very much for the very kind super chat, $9.99. I missed Mr. Stoner to you, dude. I always get that wrong. Mr. Stoner to you, dude. Cliff, can you interview a non-voter and ask why? I can. If I can, honestly, if I can find a non-voter, I will. Because I really want to know why myself. I don't get it. I don't know anybody who didn't vote. So, or they lie if they didn't vote and they're not telling me the truth. But I would. Starlene says she couldn't be mean to Cliffy. You can't be mean to Cliffy, can you? But there are others out there unlike you. Paul Young's YouTube is my only social media stuff, Cliff, nothing personal. I don't take it personally. I will say that you're going to see a lot of folks moving over there, and it's worth having at least just subscribing. They're going to add video, but it's written form too, and it costs you nothing. So there you go. I took it off the screen and Jim put it up before, but I'll find it again or put it up there because that just has to happen. You can't sit at like 29.80. Oh, you guys are amazing. Wow, 29.83 to 29.94 in like 1 minute. Six more. You could do it. Susie Jones just added me. Thank you. See, Susie, you rock. Susie. I was going to start singing a Tesla song about you, but I'm not sure if any of you want to hear that. Tonight, the place for the nonprofit where my wife works is doing they do once a year a karaoke night. So you guys let me know if you have ideas for. Yep, my phone keeps beeping, which means I know that people keep subscribing. Which means you guys are awesome. Maybe we'll have busted it. We'll see. But also, I'd love ideas for what I should sing tonight. I always don't know if it's Tomas or Thomas, so I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. I had a friend who spelled his name like you. It was actually a roommate in college who pronounced it Tomas. So maybe that. He's Estonian or Thomas. But in any case, I have one of these again. Go Schechter. Thank you. Look at that. 4 months. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I just subbed on Substack. I already thought I was subbed. Well, that's fine. That means like you're subbed, dude. We're good. Let's see. Did we do it? We got one more. Come on, you can do it. One more person. Just one more. Can I sub to myself? I don't know. We got to be there. I'm going to take about 15 seconds and then I'm going to look and I bet we'll be there. Did Vicky ask when we're live here, Jim? Yes, Tuesday to Thursday, 2 p.m. We are live. We have fun. We make fun of bad people if they come in here. Please, bad people, come in here. We have guests sometimes. We've talked to John Fugelsang and Brian Karam and Hal Sparks and we just talked to the great Blue Gal Drift Glass and Bob Seska. And I mean, the list is just, good folks. Malcolm Nance, that was a great one. William Griffin, thank you. I gifted a one Cliff's Edge membership. I'm telling you guys, it's a little bit like crack. You get in there, you try it out, you love it, you stay. I'm going to go check. And I have a feeling you guys will have succeeded. 3,006. You guys. No, seriously, thank you. That was awesome. That really did not even take a ton of work. You just all went and did it. So don't not subscribe now if you're in the process of. And if you think of it, and we'll show it later, you can still do it. But now that we broke 3,000, that's pretty cool. Let's see. We're at almost 3 o'clock. We can either have fun now. Why don't we try talking about, we can get a little more serious again, and then we can have some fun. You guys can give me some ideas. Should I... what about the whole karaoke thing. But first, I want to talk about why Jasmine Crockett was so effective. So Jasmine Crockett was in committee. She already gave that barn burner of a speech outside the Treasury Department. They would not let her and other Democrats on the oversight committee in. That's illegal. Elon Musk was in there. He is not an elected official, nor is he on any committee that's been created by the Senate. That's illegal. As I said to you before, I can say I'm on the committee of my microphone that doesn't always work. Done. That has as much power in law as his stupid Doge committee. Okay? Which also, again, shows his sense of humor and why we all got stuck with him in our lives, I think, because he's so perpetually unfunny that he couldn't stand it. Same thing happened to Donald Trump, and then he ran for president. So Jasmine Crockett was on fire. So were other folks there too. Chris Murphy, Frost. I always forget it's Maxwell Frost. Liz Warren, I believe, was there. There are some great folks, but Jasmine Crockett just there's something. Has a unique way with words. You know, some people who just get your attention immediately. She knows exactly where to put the emphasis when she's speaking. She knows the exact sort of formulation of words. It's perfect. So she's in committee yesterday, and adding upon what she had done outside, I want to make sure I get the lines right, so I even wrote them down. This is within a minute of ripping the Republicans, and what she said overall was, you don't believe in your constitutional duty. I believe in mine. When I take an oath, I actually mean it. Apparently, none of you believe in it. You are letting an unelected king wander around in the Treasury Department illegally. It is against the Constitution. You guys are big talkers and, oh, we need oversight and, oh, how important it is and, you know, how we must make sure that everyone is behaving properly. I'm sure, especially if it's Hunter Biden and they could show his junk again. So then Marjorie Taylor Greene suddenly sneaks out of the room. Any case, let's get back to Jasmine. She was crushing it as usual and doing it in that mocking, condescending tone that every single Republican deserves. So let's read the first line. Feels like you all have decided. Nope, that's not the first line. Let's go over here. Yeah, here it is. We all have a constitutional duty. We took an oath, but it seems to me like you all want to castrate your oath. Okay. Right away, if you guys don't get how the word castration to men is immediately attacking their manhood, well, you do get it, I think. She looked directly in a direction, and the camera didn't show, and I promise you, it was one of those geezery white guys. You know the type, one of those old white dudes who probably has never met anybody like Jasmine Crockett in his life. You know, family goes back, you know, how many trashy generations in this country, and thinks that this world belongs to him. And so anything that anybody gets, any time he sees anybody succeeding that is not a white guy, Christian straight guy like him, although in at least a third of their cases, they're probably not really straight. They just can't admit the truths themselves. And they don't follow any of the Christian precepts socially on purpose, and they don't follow the other family value stuff ever, and they're probably cheating on their wives too. Okay, get that out of the way. But she looked right at him and said, you're castrating your oath. She is right there getting at their flaccidity, their weakness, their wimpiness, that they're not even strong enough. They can't, they're not able to erect their oath, if you will. That was a word choice. She could have used any number of things. Your oath has been castrated. You've been castrated, is what she's really saying. You're weak and flaccid and kind of pathetic. Don't even have the strength of your convictions, if you have any. Can't even stand up strong, if you will. It was brilliant. And she knew it, because you can see by the look on her face. That was the first one. Again, this is all within a minute. Again, messaging, tone, confidence, word choice. These are all really important things. And frankly, got some cat hair on here. They hate it even more because this is a young black woman who has a law degree, and they know that she got it because she's smarter than them. They didn't just get into the same school that her pappy went to and her grandpappy. She got in because she actually earned it. So that's the first big one. Let's find the next one. Oh, right. So before it was, feels like you all are just going to castrate your constitutional oath. Okay. Second one, also to do with the Constitution. We all have a constitutional duty here. We all swore an oath. Maybe you all just don't take it seriously. Said that in a condescending voice. And with that, she's referring to them as traitors. Yeah, she's calling back, implying stuff about January 6th. Maybe you don't take your oath seriously. Maybe there's a reason why you'd let Elon Musk run around the Treasury. It's the same reason you'd let a bunch of scumbags come in and wipe feces in the wall of the Capitol, punch, kick, gouge, stab, you get the whole thing about Capitol, what went there on there that day with the Capitol guards, and that you would vandalize, attack property, that you would try to hurt people. You felt you said that was okay. You said it was okay when you wouldn't impeach Donald Trump. You said it was okay when more recently when you didn't call for a vote on the 14th Amendment to stop him from being president. You didn't speak out against him before or during the primaries. You're okay with not following your constitutional oath. So why would you care if Elon Musk, a private citizen, breaks into the Treasury? She's going right at their patriotism and calling them traitors to their faces. I promise you, they don't like it when a black woman does that. I see somebody in there talking about Stansberry. I've already shown one of her clips. She's awesome and getting better and better. And in the past, I made a video about her. More to come on Stansberry. And this is what I love: is we have an increasing number of these folks. The House now is got so many of them. I'm actually learning and meeting, like coming across some new folks I didn't even know about. What was the one from California? Let me see if I can find it. You guys may all know who I'm talking about already. Representative Sidney Kai Kamlager Dove. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I didn't even know. I didn't know who she was. I'm okay with saying, and this is sort of my job, so I probably should have. But you know what she did, which was utterly fantastic. She said the kind of thing you're not allowed to say on the app known as YouTube. And by the way, I should say hello. Thank you all to my Twitch folks who are here too. Please subscribe, support. I'll learn more about what you can do. Also, Substack's great. Patreon, fantastic. But she said, where is she? She referred to Elon Musk as, she said, inside the Treasury we have an unelected, unqualified billionaire who's trying to, quote, take control of our government and to have access to all the information we use when we are trying to get our mother blanking tax return. That's fire. And I hate doing that, guys. I wish I could just say the words. I hate that they demonetize me here. And maybe at some point when this is monetized on Substack and the ads finally arrive, I won't care anymore. And I'm just going to speak the way I'm going to speak. And if these guys choose to demonetize me at YouTube, it'll be what it'll be. Because those of you who've heard me in the past and hear what I talk like when I can, it's painful for me to not say words that I want to say. I don't just curse for the hell of it, but there are times when obviously you need to really get across a point. So yeah, she was awesome too. But let's get back to Jasmine Crockett and give you the third and also wonderful line. So at the end, she said, it feel, we took an oath that we wouldn't have a king or queen. Feels all like you want to have a Mr. King and a Mrs. Queen. I'll let you all decide which one is which. And then she started smirking and almost laughing, and you could hear laughter erupt. And yeah, guys, that doesn't work on any of us. We all know who we are. We're not these pathetic, sad, little insecure babies like what was his name again? John, Landrigan, who came here yesterday. Are you back, Johnny boy? No, we're not like that. You can call me whatever you want. I'd be proud as hell if I were gay. Swear I'm proud as hell that I'm straight and I love my wife. They're both equal. But you guys can't accept that. So she knows that saying that hurts Trump much worse even than Musk. Because everybody, as I've said that you should all do, keep talking about Donald Trump as either the vice president or the lackey, or as I like to say, piss boy to President Elon Musk. Elon Musk is our president, right now. He's calling the shots. He owns Donald Trump. He spent $130 million in swing state ads. He turned the Twitter algorithm so it gave Trump millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in free press. I mean, he owns Trump. Trump's a fake billionaire. He's a billionaire on paper. He's got more debt than he ever can get out of all the time. That's why he needs scams constantly. So by saying Mr. King and Mrs. Queen, and then saying you can choose which one y'all, she said y'all. I don't say that because that makes me sound fake. I'm from New York City, but that's how she said it. You can say which one y'all think is which. And Donald Trump will not take kindly to that on Troth Social. I wouldn't would not be surprised. Let's try that again. Surprised if Donnie loses it and goes after her, especially a smart, intelligent, attractive, charismatic, accomplished as hell young Black woman mocking him. That's got to be his nightmare scenario. Got to be. And so it was good. So there you go. 1 minute statement. She's referred to them as castrated. These are the men around her, and mocked them for being weak and flaccid. She has said to them that maybe they don't care about their oath, and reminded them that they don't, and that they're traitors, and mocked that about them. And then ended with mocking Musk and Trump, and really more Trump, by who the king and who the queen really is, and mocked both Trump's masculinity, fragility, bone spurs, let's say, and the fact that Elon Musk controls Donald Trump. All in 1 minute speech, rant, Jeremiah, call what you will. That's pretty good. And that's why she's really good. Apartheid Ken is so hurt right now. Yes, you are correct, Mr. Lind. I mean, it is like, again, it felt like, I was saying to Tony, it felt like the floodgates opened yesterday. It really did. Like, the stuff they were saying about Musk, I've never heard. I hear, like, you hear it once in a while, right? A Democrat would say it here, there. To have a collection of them all getting together, there's power in numbers. There's strength in a big group being like, we're not scared of you, and we're not intimidated by you, and you're not stopping us. We're doing our jobs. You're not elected. We are. Your money means nothing here. It should mean absolutely nothing. Sadly, it does in our political system, but it means nothing when it comes down to who actually was elected and who wasn't. So, get the cops and arrest him. He broke the law. Yeah, that was a takedown of sorts. I don't know how well that one's going to work because I stopped in the middle for certain ways and whatever. I may have to actually edit it, which is not as much fun. But I loved it when the chair kept having to say without objection, lefty cramps. Yeah. So she was fantastic. And see, the thing is that I've said this so many times before, courage is contagious. It really is. And so is cowardice. And so when you have your folks speaking in these mealy-mouthed ways, and others do, messaging is important, but the strength of that messaging is important too. Is this live or just live chat? JD Christie. I am here and I am alive, I promise you. So now that I'm responding to you, you'll know that this isn't taped. Or we're in some weird, constantly looping period of time like you see in movies. We're like caught in a time loop where you keep asking that question and I keep answering you, like, in the Terminator. How could Reese be born if she was his mom, but he had to go back in time, or he was John's dad? You know what I mean. In any case, James Comer is still Humpty Dumpty 2.0. Yes, James, you're right. JD Christie, thank you for the super sticker. And there's some other folks who are kind enough to give me not yet parting gifts. And so let's make sure everybody knows how kind you are. Nikki Oliver gifted 1 Cliff's Edge membership. Thank you, Nikki. Fantastic. fantabulous. So I've said to folks before, that is good. I am a Patreon lover. They do allow me to keep in touch with you, do emails. If we can even get 1 or 2 more Patreon subscribers today, we got a bunch yesterday. Oh my God, it was great. We give you extra video content there. You've got access to extra stuff. You want to do a Zoom with me? We can figure that thing out. We can jump on a call for the right level. Like there's all sorts of stuff we can do. So we've gone up a little bit since the show started, which is great, and I appreciate it. But we are right now at the $5.59 per month mark. So what I want to do is see if we can get to the 600. Can we do that by the end of the show? Can I get $41 more of subscribers? That would make a difference if you multiply that out by months and everything that I can do here, time I can put in. So if you haven't subscribed to Patreon or you'd want to switch over from YouTube to Patreon, please go do it. It doesn't take away from the fact that I very much appreciate those who subscribe to YouTube also. So and thank you for that gift, Nikki. Gregory Brown. They're all a bunch of Lindsey Grahams. Yes. I know when you sent that while I was doing my kind of rant. So I wasn't able to say, but yeah, they are. I mean, have you ever seen such a spineless, pathetic group of people? And the thing is, it extends so far beyond just Congress. It's the judges that they appoint. It's state legislatures, like the pathetic group of losers here in Ohio. These knuckle-dragging dorks. These atavistic cavemen, like they had a fetus testify one time. I'm not even kidding, in our state house like 10 years ago. I mean, you know, I didn't think that gonorrhea could walk around and take human form and get elected and gerrymander and run a state legislature until I saw Ohio's. All right. DS Jones. Ooh, this is, I think, the second time. A $9.99 super sticker. Thank you so much. And JD Christie, of course, wanted to make sure I was really here. I am. I was. I were. I will be. Thank you so much for that. Very kind of all of you. Who said that? What did we see? Just subscribe to you from Penny. All right, Penny, where'd you subscribe? We have a couple places. We love Patreon. We love Substack. So those are both huge. And then we still want everyone to subscribe to YouTube. That is free. We just need to diversify because YouTube likes to do stuff like demonetize and other stuff that's obnoxious and is ridiculous. So let me know, Penny, where you subscribe, wherever it is. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Jesse James. In the future, Cliff Schecter will lead mankind in a war against Starlink, a computer system programmed to destroy the world. Don't you know it? I don't know if I'll lead it. Hopefully I'll be around. But maybe then, there'll be a time loop like that. It'll be like I came back from the future and then had my son, and then he came in for time and met me, and you never know. Life's crazy that way. We have another story too. In fact, my gosh, you guys really are being amazing because I've got 28 new Substack. I think it says that here. Well, you guys rule. We actually can go take a look. Let's see. 3014, huh? Nice. You guys are doing what you should be doing. Seriously. I mean, Substack's free. So that one, I understand. Patreon, you can join for free. That's fine. Love to have you. Obviously, if you could do something and support, that would be wonderful too, because that is what allows me to do this, because YouTube likes to demonetize me. It's not even just that. I mean, YouTube they're a much tougher haul than they make it seem like they will be. Even when you get over 100,000 subscribers, it's amazing how difficult they make everything, how they make everything take more time than it should, so that it's why I had to change up my schedule. If I'm going to do these live streams and make the videos, some of those sort of medium videos that tend to make, at least make me some money, and I enjoy those too, of the kinds that I just did, the takedown kind of videos, I had to stop doing other things, right? With also some stuff going on in my personal life. So I couldn't do Bob Seska's show anymore, and I can't do Hal every week. And I didn't want to do any of that, but life's about choices. So let's see what else we got. Did you see what Kennedy said? Penny is asking in bold writing. I know what you're saying there about that moron. He's actually not. He's so pathetic. He puts on the fake accent. The fact that he's named John Kennedy really offends me. The senator who switched parties, of course, too, from Louisiana. Talks like this. I'm just a good Southern boy. Well, for gosh darn, I just finished eating my cheese grits and I walked outside and I couldn't believe what I saw. It was crazy, I tell you. The guy went to Oxford University, okay? He is such a fraud. He is I'm close to being able to say in the Senate, anyhow, he's the biggest fraud of any of them. And that's tough to say because Ted Cruz, again, also fakes like he's dumber than he is. I can't stand any of them, but there are a few of them that actually are smart. They're just evil. Uh-oh, I'm getting an LOL from Matthew. Matthew, you like my Southern accent? I can keep doing it all day. I really feel like, I don't know why, I'm better at that than Trump. Trump's from New York. You'd think I'd be able to do that one. Everything's beautiful. It's wonderful. Best of all time. The best. Uh-oh, I touched my mic. Is it still working? Hello? You know how that goes. Yeah, so I was going to tell you about another story. It's a good one. GOP Representative Nancy Mace. You may know her as Republican. To say the wackiest things in the world lately. Being a little concerned that things are freezing up. Are we all still there? Did I freeze up for a second? Doge is hacking the stream, so I did freeze for a second. All right. Well, I'm going to shut down Windows. We don't need Patreon open anymore. You guys have been great on that one. We don't need our CIA names anymore. Oh, come on. All right. It's good now. We going okay? I was shutting down Windows to hope that somehow makes some kind of difference. Let's even get like some stuff off the desktop that does not need to be here. Because I do not want that's happened before where we've started freezing up here, and that is incredibly freaking annoying. Guys, I just think you've all been so good. You've kicked into what I will call the Cliff Schechter Computer Fund. So I think it's going to have to be time to get a new computer. Let's empty the trash. All right, I got rid of some video on there. Let's hope that works. I have some videos I had saved to look through some things. So good. It seems to be fine now. Awesome. But if you want to help with the Cliff Schechter Computer Fund, Patreon is there. So Nancy Mace has been awful lately, even by her standards. Again, I don't know if I'm allowed to even use the word she used, but she used a slur, a transphobic slur. And she just she's so two-faced. She's so two-faced. I mean, in the end, she was one of the people on January 6th who was calling out Trump when back in the days when she used to pretend to be a moderate before she decided that she was going to become MAGA and was worried Trump, might have somebody challenge her in a primary. She literally has zero courage. She's exactly the spineless jellyfish loser. She's just a big puddle of goop. She's just sad. She's such a sad, pathetic figure. And so what happened was she started going after, she's been going after the trans community lately. And so another Republican who's in New York and he held on, a bunch of the others lost. So maybe he's getting scared about his seat. Representative Mike Lawler actually got up at an event and mocked her, which is pretty awesome because that's when you know they're fighting with each other. So what we have here, it's from the Huffington Post. GOP Representative Burns, Nancy Mace. I think I said Representative Burns before because I thought that's what it said. So that's kind of funny. GOP Rep Burns, Nancy Mace in personal zinger involving Marjorie Taylor Greene. Whenever you can bring Marjorie Taylor Greene into a solid insult of somebody else, you're doing well. Again, this is Alex Lawler. He stinks, sucks. I can't say that, can I, guys? He's awful, and he's a Republican, and we don't like him. But we do like when he insults Nancy Mace, and he uses Marjorie Taylor Greene to do it. So what he did was he got up on stage in New York, with all the stuff she's been saying lately. And while introducing Representative Blake Moore, Republican of Utah, at the Washington Press Club Foundation congressional dinner, that's a long Washington Press Club Foundation congressional dinner on Wednesday, Lawler took a detour. Ooh, let's see where the detour goes. Who knows? Blake could be a future Speaker of the House, Lawler said. It all depends on how Nancy Mace and the Freedom Caucus are feeling on any given day. Ooh, taking the shiv to the Freedom Caucus. And then this is the Huffington Post again. And then the dagger. Nancy Mace has gone so far off the deep end lately that she makes Marjorie Taylor Greene look like Susan Collins. Well done. Now, to them, Susan Collins is a moderate, so that's a dig. To us, of course, we know she's a conservative and she's always concerned and all of that. But obviously, compared to Marjorie Taylor Greene, yes, that is a far jump. It would have been better. A more effective one would have been if he said that it made Marjorie Taylor Greene look like Jasmine Crockett. I mean, pick a Democrat, right? But in any case, the fact that they're at each other's throats and the fact that he's ripping Nancy Mace tells you, and he's ripping Marjorie Taylor Greene in there, kind of tells you the civil war in their party. And B, that this guy from New York, he's scared he's going to lose his seat. Because as you guys may know, we've already had an election since Trump. And it's gone all the way the elections went for years after 2016, which sadly I think gave us too much confidence about 2024. Because whatever it is, yes, we still won 2020 solidly. But when Trump was at the top of the ballot, these weirdo little, like that group of guys that went with Elon into the Treasury, this weirdo group of little pale, putrid, Putinite incel, guys that are whiter than a pile of flour on top of sugar on top of cocaine, they all turn out from whatever trailer they're living in with the cigarette dangling from their mouth and shirtless with with a Tyson tattoo up here, and they show up and they vote for Trump, and ends up hurting some people down ballot because some of them, not all of them, take the time to vote down ballot too, and then they disappear, never to be seen again unless Trump's at the top of the ballot. So we had a race in I told you about this either the other day or last week, but we had a race in Iowa state Senate district. The Republican had won in November, ran at the same time as he ran for lieutenant governor, because you can do that, even though that's ridiculous. Yes, Democrats have done that too. Running for two offices at the same time so that you've got a backup office is ludicrous, but whatever. He ran and he won the lieutenant governorship. Gone. He won it by, was it 22 points? Donald Trump, during that same election, won it by 21 points. Wow, I mean, crazy Republican district. We have no shot in this open seat, right? In an off-year election. Yeah, we just won it by, I think it was 2.5 points. So depending on which one you want to compare it to, we either change that by 23.5, 24.5. I mean, that's like a quarter of the electorate. That's a pretty big deal. And that is what we have been able to accomplish because of Donald Trump already. Not to mention his good friend, the person that owns him, Elon Musk. So there you go. We're already winning in those kinds of places. All right. That was a lot of what I had intended for today. Doesn't mean we have to be quite done yet. Bad built, Pat Ludwig, bad built butch body. Yes. Bleach blonde, bad built blonde body. You guys know we have that shirt. I have folks in Substack having a chat session. That's awesome. I wasn't even aware of that. Fantastic. Is it they're replying, Jim, maybe to one of the notes I put up there? I'll have to go and join them after I'm done here. And you all can too if you join Substack. Maggot trailer. Was that gangrene? You all trying to come up with the best ones? Metastasized toe grunge. Yeah. I like to call her that for a while. What did I call her? Margie Three Toes and Margie Minotaur. Margie Minotaur is a fun one too. Well, good to know people are talking in Substack everywhere. We all need to be talking to each other. I was away for a bit, so I'm looking through your comments, see what else we got. Because I am done with all of my material I arrived with to make sure you knew about today. Gracie. Mancy is a transphobic slur. Is it? I don't know. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. Wow, man. You just look through this thing and you guys. Somebody suggested putting a fridge cold pack under your computer cooling fan. General Putnam underneath. Yeah, look, it's just time. It's just time. I need to get a new computer. I really think in the end, that's it. I think that's it. Again, the mic works fine. You plug it in somewhere else. It's the USB, both of them. It's just, and then there's those other issues. I just think, what I'll do, if I can get it this weekend, if I have the time and be able to do it, I'll do it. If not, I will just spend a lot of time cleaning off this computer and taking a lot of stuff off of it because clearly that needs to happen. Okay, we are past that. So clothing footer, yeah, we got all the good Marge talk is happening here. So, all right, guys, here you go. Here's the question to you. New subby here, JB. We like new folks, so we're gonna, thank you for being here. Thanks for the fun chat, everyone. Have a great evening. Well, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, I'm glad to know that we gave you a fun evening, and I'm not sure where you subbed, but wherever you subbed of any of the places, if it's YouTube, we appreciate it. I think so. The other places we tend to call, well, now we sort of say subscribe to what do you call it? Substack. Become a member at Patreon. So much language. Hey. Large Marge, DS Jones, you were on a roll with those $9.99s. Thank you. I don't want to even at the end. I will do a Jerry Maguire just so I leave with something. But if anybody match or do anything else like my friend DS Jones right now, that would be greatly appreciated. Again, Cliff Schechter Computer Fund on the march. And frankly, it doesn't have to be that exact amount if you can't do that amount. But I really appreciate it. Seriously, that's outstanding. Let's, all right. See, that's the thing is I think I'm going to talk about something else and you guys just always come up with cool stuff that leads me off what I was going to say, which in this case is, I'm just sort of sitting here watching you come up with every name for Marjorie Taylor Greene that I've ever could think of, many of which I have not think of. Penny Hartleben again. How long before Trump starts trying to control what we say on the internet? Oh, he already has. If you're talking about in general, like the internet, not yet. That's a question. But part of the relationship with Elon Musk was to control what we said on the internet. You remember there are people that said certain things that were just disappeared, especially people that criticized Elon. But there were some people that disappeared who criticized Trump about certain things, maybe things that got Trump upset. Nobody saw anything that was being written. Did you see what they did with the algorithm? Remember, Twitter, I think, was the number 2 place I want to say where people were getting their news in the United States, which is a scary thought. Maybe number 3 during the election or something like that. I read something like that. And he changed the algorithm. So people were seeing, I think the ratio I saw was they were seeing Trump stuff 16 times as much as our stuff. That's controlling what you say on a pretty important site. But other places, and look, yeah, they've already tried to shut certain sites down. He threatened Jeff Bezos when the Washington Post, that's offline and online, said things about him. So Bezos got the message when he threatened him a bunch of times his first term in office, and Bezos is a pathetic lackey now and kisses his butt. Zuckerberg got the message. became a lackey, started allowing people to say whatever. They got rid of fact checkers and all of that. But I bet you if you say something that's too lefty, he's already said, I don't use Threads at all. I have a Threads account. You should know, don't ever think when we were first here and Jim was being awesome and sharing all of my accounts, I made clear to him which ones not to share. All I do to at Threads is take videos over, dump them there. It helps them get some views. It helps with the algorithm if YouTube sees that there's videos being put up in more places. But I don't do anything else at Threads because of course it's owned by Zuckerberg. And Zuckerberg, and I get it, we can't always do that. Like I'm very appreciative again of my Twitch crowd here. Thank you for being here. And I get that's owned by Amazon. There's nothing you can do. If there was a rival to that, you go use it. Sometimes we have no choice. But if you do have a choice, if it's a crappy product like Threads, like that doesn't even allow you to DM each other, and it's called Threads, and their threads suck. So, I mean, Threads is not even as good a product as Twitter, which is an awful product. So, if I'm going to go on one of those apps, it's going to be Blue Sky. Again, for reasons I've explained, again, I need to make a living doing this, and I want to be where I like stuff. The algorithm, yes, does Substack allow anybody on? It does. It has a notes function, which is where I think Jim said people are probably talking. And it allows me, they let people on. So there are right-wing nuts on there. But I never see their stuff, ever. It's not like Twitter where you would. I don't ever see their stuff because I subscribe to a few people. The algorithm knows who I subscribe to. It knows what I like. They don't exist as far as I'm concerned. So in the notes section, I get to have that kind of a conversation in a place that I can monetize. But if I don't care about the monetization aspect, yeah, it would be Blue Sky. Threads is awful. I mean, at least you can DM each other at Substack. You can DM each other at Blue Sky. You can't even DM each other. Threads is a joke. So why be there? Now, there's a lot of people, the only way they can keep in touch with certain friends, family, whatever, is Facebook. I get it. If you can leave Facebook, leave. Facebook for me at this point is, is kind of like Twitter. They exist, but I don't do anything there. I mean, I do put videos up and I do stream. So I shouldn't say I don't do anything. What I'm saying to you is this stream goes to Twitter. I'm not there. And because maybe we'll win over a few new folks, but I drop my videos there once or twice a day. But I don't, unless somebody says something nice, I feel like I should respond to or whatever. I don't go there. Put any independent thought at Twitter at all. So I may be there for 10 minutes a day, maybe less, probably less. I would say do that with all of Musk's products. I get it. There are some people that think Instagram is irreplaceable. I don't use Instagram either, so that's not a problem for me. Honestly, Musk has no product that I use regularly, nor that I need to. I'm on Facebook. I guess I'm on Instagram. Don't do anything with it. And so I guess I'm on all three of them and don't use any of them. That's where we are. But if you can use an alternative, do it. You can't always do that. That's the problem. And we have to all remember that and respect that. So make friends with Discord. So who owns Discord? That's Ceres, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Ceres. I don't know who owns Discord. Is that somebody we like? Somebody we at least are agnostic about? Sorry, we got a lot of people saying they're sorry in here. Did something bad happen? Sorry about that. Sorry. Penny, did something bad happen? Oh, you've been sick and depressed all week. I'm sorry about that. No, I haven't been sick. I definitely, after the election, I think the only thing I could call it now is I was going through depression. Yeah, like the legit. Have never had it that I'm aware of before. So I didn't know that's what it was. But the way depression has been described to me and what I was going through there for at least a couple weeks, and it put me in a sort of place where that's one of the reasons I took a vacation. I was able to go to France, and it was one of the best times of my life. And I was back seeing, folks I cared about, and that helped for a while. But then again, like the world is crazy and overwhelming. There's health issues in my family. And so that's why I had to lessen the load to get the stuff done I need to get done. But Penny is struggling. A lot of us are. Yeah, I know, Matthew. And I'm sorry, Penny, if you're struggling. It is tough. It's why I tried to give, and I try to give in general, look, we have to share news, and sometimes it's bad. But honestly, I felt a lot better about the Democrats since yesterday. It was that really was a like tour de force of Democratic voices speaking in unison. And now some other people In fact, one of the ones that pissed me off. Which one? Which rep is he? You know, the one from Northern California, former tech dude, um, Ro Khanna, who was one of the ones who right after the election was like, well, you know, Elon's a tech guy and he's built this amazing thing and we, you know, we should meet with him. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? Elon Musk just spent time endorsing Nazis and supporting Trump with hundreds of millions in lies and the Twitter algorithm. And it seems he got the message because now he was out there yesterday, ripping the crap out of Elon. So that's what that does. When your party speaks in unison and they come out and they start saying, no, this isn't somebody we're going to appease. This isn't somebody we're going to play nice with. He is the enemy, and he is. And I don't like to speak about people that way, but he is. He's an enemy of democracy. He's in China with China and Russia. He's an enemy of our freedom. He's an enemy of privacy. What do you want me to say? He's an utterly terrible human being who should be arrested and perhaps deported. One or the other, in one order or another. Ro Khanna kisses Musk's rear, is tired. Yeah, I mean, he was doing it afterwards. But you know what? I don't care whether Ro Khanna means it or not, and I don't have to trust or believe in Ro Khanna, which I don't after that. All I have to do is yesterday, he was ripping into him, which means the pressure worked. That's what we need. The results matter. Even if you don't like him personally, and I don't like him personally, we got him to where we need him to be. Because he knows in that district he's in, he will lose in a primary if he's on the wrong side of that. So good. Elon has never built anything in his life. No, Elon likes to go and find other people's ideas and then build things that blow up. Did you see the guy that climbed near the white fence near the White House got arrested under 5 minutes from Penny? Yeah, I didn't see that. I'm not surprised. That's the way it should work at the Treasury Department too. I don't care who you are. Cats 444. I do not have the ability, let's call it knowledge, to play clips yet. My good pal Tony, as well as other friends like Hal and whatever, are going to teach me. I just had to get up to speed on Substack, Patreon, aspects of YouTube, StreamYard in the basic ways so I can do this and other stuff, all sorts of things over, I don't know, a 3-month period of time while I've had somebody very important to me getting sicker and while I've had to deal with what we've all had to deal with, Donald Trump and other stuff. It just, I will get there as fast as I can get there. That's the best I can tell you. Hopefully soon. I really much want to play clips on here. I really do. It may just be that I'm getting boring at this point. He was doing it for the show. Interesting. Cliff. All right. See, here's my pal Starling. Cliff, you're very lucky to have an outlet like going on vacation, your family, and I'm plugging. I'm very, very happy for you to have that because you work so hard, you need it most. Well, thank you. I wouldn't say I need it most. I work hard. I don't work. There are people out there in the world, roofers, bricklayers, all sorts of people that are out, construction guys on my block working on some new place they're putting up today that are out in colder weather and hotter weather, working outdoors with their hands, cutting themselves, bleeding, getting splinters, getting gashes, they work harder than I do. I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. I get to sit in an office. And when I'm not working and I'm not in an office, I'm in my home or I'm walking down the street filming a short. So I'm not claiming I don't. I work a lot of hours, yes. A ton of hours, and it is exhausting or whatever. But I can't claim I work harder than people because people that have to do like strenuous physical work have to put in more than I do. And I think that's just being honest about it. All right. So we already had somebody say they wanted to play a clip. I think that means people are getting a little bored. How about this as a closing thing? I want songs from you. What song should I serenade my wife with tonight at karaoke? That I think is how we're going to close this whole thing today. A couple minutes. I mean, we only have 18 minutes left that we can even do this anymore before they cut us off. Anyhow, because we can't go longer than 2 hours. So give me some songs. Give me some songs, guys. Come on. What do you got? What I did sing to her when I first met her, was The Gambler. And I messed it up something fierce. And so now it's a fun joke to get. So that'll be one. I got to get up and sing The Gambler. But Build me up. Yeah. Nice. Build me up. Yep. I got that. I got it. Good job. Tennessee whiskey. Wonderful tonight. Ooh, Radio Free Farley. Well, only problem with Wonderful Tonight, of course, is it's Eric Clapton. And we have issues with Eric Clapton these days. Even though I used to like his music, but I still like some of it. But it still is a terrific song. Hearing me hit those notes, Lady in Red. Yeah, you're putting me in some dangerous territory, guys. Dreams, because you have a gravel voice like Stevie Nicks. I like it. I could do that. Time for the Guillotines. I don't think that's a song. You had somebody. A little less conversation by Elvis. Ooh, that's a good one. Girls just want to have fun. I actually saw Cyndi Lauper live. That was only a year ago. That was awesome. 4th of July, Bruce Springsteen. Any Springsteen, yeah, I'll end up doing some Springsteen at some point. I have to. Ohio TJ or whatever. Yes, Clapton is off his rocker lately. He and what's his face, Brown Eyed Girl or Van Morrison have lost it, and hope they enjoy their time in Magaville. Blue Jean. I love Blue Jean by Bowie. Roxanne Epstein. That I could do. That is an awesome song. I liked Bowie a lot in the 80s when I was a kid. Any metal song? Hey, Veronica Tatis. I feel like I know you from somewhere. Look at that. Veronica's here. Guys, Veronica actually helps me out with stuff. So if you think I'm bad now, you should have seen me before Veronica came along. I can't do anything. Okay, we'll get some metal in there, Veronica. We'll have to see what they offer. Should I do like Sanitarium by Metallica? That would be very romantic. Or maybe I'll do some System of a Down. I'm a big fan of those guys, as you know. Prison Song. We'll see. I don't know if that would go over well. But I will think. I will try to think of some good. I could do like we could do like a metal ballad. I could do, it's not quite metal, I guess hard rock. I could do like November Rain. But hitting the notes that Axl hit in his prime. I will freely admit here that Axl Rose's voice, circa 87 to about 95, may be my favorite voice of all time. So the deep up to the high, to the gravelly, to the whole thing. Ooh, Rooster by Alice in Chains. Now you're talking, Roxanne. I could do that. Big Alice in Chains fan. They're coming to Columbus for a big festival this summer, and I want to see them. Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime. Nice. Who are these people? We're not going to take it. That would be fun. Twisted Sister. Yeah, I see you got sewed in there. System of a Down. That's right, Veronica. I'll find a System of a Down. They got to have a song I can do. They got to. I love it when you do these little things here. See, because music, it unites. Try the Viper Room and Discord. They're happy to play any requests. All right. Blue by Joni Mitchell. Nice. Should I do Bop, maybe? I'm just kidding. I can't do that. I did that as a joke once at a gathering of friends. We were like camping, and everybody's trying to come up with the cheesiest song to sit and sing, and that was mine. Ooh, Beast of Burden, Rolling Stones. That is a great song, Chipmunk Milk. They like it. Have You Seen the Rain? CCR, we love that. William Knight, good stuff. We're getting some good stuff in here. For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. Her name is Alice Fortunate Son. Tiny Dancer. I can't even keep up with you guys anymore. There's so many great songs coming in here. The world needs more music. I agree. If I ever retire, I will learn. I played guitar when I was younger, never well. Either will take that back up or play a different instrument. I love the drums. I should play that. Black Hole Sun. I mean, that makes me more depressed, but in every way. I mean, Chris Cornell has to be a top 3 voice of all time. And obviously that song, what it's about, is kind of rough. And where we are today is, so it kind of fits in a way. America's Burning, Shine Down, Resist by Rush. Yeah, that could be good. David Bowie and Heroes. Good song. Is that the one that maybe I was at the concert, Springsteen in Pittsburgh. And whenever it's after the day, somebody he knew and is been big in music passes away. He plays a tribute, like he played, I remember Purple Rain for Prince. When we saw him, no, so it wasn't Heroes, it was Rebel Rebel. That's what it was. It was the day after Bowie died. It sucked. So I mean, we're going back like a decade ago now, and we saw Springsteen in Pittsburgh, and he did Rebel Rebel, America by Ramstein. There you go. A Called Arms, Mike and the Mechanics. Ooh, now we're going back. Yes, William Knight, American Idiot. You know, if you go to my YouTube, there is, when I went to see Green Day here, I played the whole album. And the part, of course, that got changed from I'm not a part of the redneck agenda to I'm not a part of the MAGA agenda, which we knew was coming because they had done it over New Year's. And this was this past summer, 6 months later. I made sure that I had my video going, and like the entire crowd around us cheered. Like everybody went nuts, which sadly I thought at the time, hey, you know, there at some of these kinds of concerts, you do get a lot of white dudes who might think might be Trumpers, but maybe we'll win. But it was a cool moment. I made it into a short. You can find it up on the YouTube. Elton John, David Bowie, Billy Joel. No, they're all great. Billy Joel, I've seen a number of times. This is War, Avenged Sevenfold. I just love the variety of things. And the thing is, I like everything from classic rock to metal to grunge to hard rock to glam rock to pop rock, even a little bit of country rock and rockabilly from back in the day, you know, some Johnny Cash and that, you know, Waylon Jennings. And I mean, I like rap if it's hard hitting. I admit to liking some DMX. I admit to liking some Eminem. I loved Public Enemy. It has to be, you know, rap has to kick for me to like it. I don't like the softer. So I do like a wide, and I'm sure I missed some in there. I like a lot of music. So my sweet spot is probably around hard rock. It's probably your Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, and grunge too, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains kind of stuff. Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan, Lefty Gramps, Double Trouble, about 6 months before he got into that helicopter crash. Touring with Clapton. I should blame Clapton for it. And you know, I'm glad I got a chance to see him before he passed away. It was it's amazing to me now. It's at Madison Square Garden, and it was they called it the Monsters of Guitar tour. And it was him and Jeff Beck, and they're both gone now, which is depressing. All right. Well, listen, guys, I'm even being texted at this point. I think you guys have given me a lot of great ideas, all blues based about the music I like. Yes, there is a connection. Radio Free Farley. Is that my Mike Farley? Is that my boy, my friend? If it is, whoever it is, I'm glad you're here. But if it's Mike, thanks, my man. Yes. Of course, Roger now saw Jeff Beck. Yeah, I can sit here. You guys will keep going. We'll do some music stuff more. It seems like everybody gets into that here. I don't know if you're as into movies. I did that movie one that time where I had a reviewer, Zaki Hassan, on. We got into Gladiator and some of the other things I love. Some of the Godfather movies and, you know, Apocalypse Now and that stuff. I don't know if you're as into that or good streaming series. You probably know if you caught me on Tony's that I love Ozark. I loved, obviously, Breaking Bad goes without saying. Never watched it the first time around. I've told you guys already. I'm watching The Walking Dead with my older son right now. So I get into good, like the last 10 years, the really good stuff that could be movies level, like TV shows that are on like your Netflixes and Disney's and stuff. So, you know, a lot of other interests. Love cats. You guys know that. I even put a cat in one of my last, you may have seen one of my cats covering his face looking at Elon. See, Elon was in one of the thumbnails. So we can bring all that stuff here. Yeah, Kent, you're right. This chat will say they know some shite. They do. They know what it is they speak of. Listen, thank you all for being here. You're awesome. Can I do as my last ask? Can I do who's coming with me? Come on. Gotta go. Who's coming with me? All I need is a 99-cent super. Oh, Sheldon Hughes. Always in one of the key spots in my order. I love the music talk. All right. Well, you know what, Sheldon, with how much you support me and you support this channel and everything I do, you like the music talk a lot. We're doing it a lot because I love it too. And you are so kind and make it so. Again, those kinds of moments, guys, make it so that you know, I can do this stuff. Grace Gracie, I'm a female Chris Cornell. Well, send us in a song. If you'll allow me to play it, I'll play it. See, once I learn how to put video up here too, I'm going to learn the audio, the video, the audio, the images, the whole thing. It really is the next thing. Like Tony and I were supposed to do that this past weekend. So I'd learned the video part of this, and this past weekend turned into some kind of show, and so I wasn't able to do it. But we'll get there, and then I can, then we can put some videos up. Who knows? We can do a lot with music. I've told you guys too that I have 2 friends who have already agreed to come on. Actually, 3, because if that was my friend Mike Farley who's in here, he had a very popular band in Cleveland, where they're based in Cleveland, but they had a record deal, number of songs out there. He's on, was it Mike Farley group? He does rock PR right now. If anybody needs some of that. So we have him on here to talk about that. But also the jokes with Veronica about System of a Down. I did some work. We're trying to prevent some like killings and cleansing in this Armenian section that was surrounded by Azerbaijan. And I got to work with Serge Tankian of System of a Down, and he is one of the nicest, most fantastic guys in the world, and he agreed to come on here. So we can get him on here if you guys like System of a Down. And the other one who I met on a radio show, it's actually Robin was hosting it from Howard Stern's show. It's a long story. They wanted some diverse group of people. Lisa Lampanelli, the comedian, was on, and and Phil Collin, the guitarist for Def Leppard, not Phil Collins, Phil Collin, the guy who's like 65 and he's a vegan and shirtless. His guitar is in better shape than I am at this point. And I go to the gym. He's in better shape than me. And he's a friend and has agreed to come on too. So we're going to get some folks you've heard of and some other rock and roll type folks on here because I love music. Talk about it forever. And there's a Patreon free level, Starling. There is. What? You shouldn't. No. You can't only be offered the paid version at Substack. Go back, Starling, please. That was a mistake. Or unless I checked the wrong thing at some point, but it seems like a lot of other people signed up here and did it. You must have clicked on, because absolutely, like, there's no required payment for anything now. The paid version only exists as I put it in the middle of our articles I write and say, hey, if you'd like to give, and 7 or 8 people have chosen to do that. But I don't even it's not even like something where I talk about in the way I do here. It is free over there. It's meant to be free, and people want to be nice and they want to give me something great. Whereas Patreon, it's meant to, if you can afford something that is meant, because that's extra content of a video kind for you to pay. But I wanted to keep it so that people that can't do it at least have something. So you can get 2 videos, whatever it is. I think you get the videos and you get 1 or 2 posts a month, and and you don't get all the other stuff, but at least I can give you something. But Substack for now, I'm going to add an extra level of Substack eventually that will be pay, but that'll be a whole extra thing. All the basic stuff you'll get for free. And now I'm at 3:55 and we are approaching. So, and I already did my who's good going with me, and Sheldon Hughes took care of me. So thank you for tuning in today. As Jim just said, I can just copy what he said. Thank you for your continued support and participation. Do something you like, love, that will cleanse your timeline. Jim Williams is smart, supportive, fantastic, amazing. And someday, Jim, you will find the way, and there will be, to thank you for all that you've done here. So to make this work. So listen, guys, thank you so much. Take care. As he said, as Jim said, do something you enjoy, relax, try to get rid of some of that anxiety, exercise, go listen to a great song, go watch a good movie, go play tennis, go run, go ride a bike somewhere, go talk to a friend who you love, whatever it is that relaxes you, go do it, enjoy yourself. And thank you for everything you do for me here, because it truly it is life-changing. So thank you. And I will say with that, as the sun sets slowly in the west, I bid you a fond farewell.